I was 9 years old the day I met them. 30 roaring machines, leather jackets, skull patches, tattoos that looked like war stories carved into skin, and hearts bigger than anyone could have imagined. Most kids ran when they heard the engines. I didn't. I ran toward them. Because that day, all I wanted was a dad. My name's Eli, and I was the kid everyone in Maple Creek whispered about. The one whose dad left and never came back. The one who sat alone on Father's Day crafts day, pretending my crayon drawing was for my uncle. But that morning, something inside me snapped. I was tired of being the poor kid with no dad. So when I heard the thunder of Harley engines outside the diner on Main Street, I thought, maybe, just maybe, one of them could be my hero for a day. And I didn't know it yet. But that moment would change everything. Not just for me, but for an entire brotherhood the world thought had no heart. It was Saturday. The sky smelled like rain and gasoline, that weird mix you only notice when you're standing near the road with your heart beating out of your chest. I held the little paper I'd drawn for Father's Day. It had a stick figure of me, and an empty outline beside it. I wanted to fill that space. I'd seen the bikers before, the HellsAngels. They always stopped at Rose's diner on weekends. The adults in town said, "Stay away from them, Eli. They're dangerous." But all I saw were men laughing, patting each other on the back, like the way my dad used to before he left. So I walked up to them, shaking so bad my knees almost gave out. One of them, a tall man with a gray beard and flame tattoos on his arms, noticed me first. He leaned down, his eyes hidden behind dark shades. "Hey, little man," he said, his voice like gravel. "You lost?" I swallowed hard. "No, sir," I whispered. I just wanted to ask something." The laughter around the diner died down. All eyes turned to me. 30 bikers in black leather, waiting. I took a deep breath, squeezed the paper in my hand, and said, "Tomorrow's Father's Day at school, and everyone's supposed to bring their dad. I don't have one. So I was wondering." My voice cracked. "If one of you could be my dad, just for a day." The silence that followed felt like forever. Then I saw the gray-bearded man. His mouth twitched. He looked at his brothers, then back at me. "What's your name, kid?" he asked. "Eli," I said softly. He nodded. "Well, Eli, name's Tank. And you just made 30 grown men speechless." Then he turned to the rest of the gang and said with a grin, "Boys, looks like we've got a new recruit for tomorrow." The whole group erupted, clapping, hooting, helmets tapping the air. I remember standing there in awe, thinking, did they just say yes? Tank crouched down again and placed his massive hand on my shoulder. "You want a dad for a day," he said. "You got 30. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying their laughter, their promise. Mom didn't even believe me when I told her. "Oh, Eli, stop making up stories," she said, washing dishes in our tiny kitchen. But when I heard the roar of engines outside the next morning, her jaw dropped. 30 Harley-Davidsons parked in front of our house. Tank stepped off his bike, carrying a helmet, a smaller one. Red, shiny, and new. "For the kid," he said, smiling. My mom's eyes widened. "Excuse me, sir, who?" Tank took off his sunglasses. Name's Tank. Your boy asked for a dad for a day. We figured we'd do him one better. He gets the whole crew." And that was the start of the wildest day of my life. They took me on the back of Tank's Harley. I remember gripping his jacket so tight, feeling the leather and wind rush past my face. People stopped and stared as we rode through Maple Creek, the scary biker gang with a little boy laughing on their bikes. At school, all the dads were in polos and ties. Then we rolled in, engines growling. The ground literally vibrated. Everyone froze. Then I heard one kid whisper, "Whoa, Eli's dad's a biker." Tank leaned down and said quietly, Hold your head high, son. Today, you've got family. And I did. For the first time in years. I did. But I had no idea then that this one-day promise would soon drag these men into a storm none of us saw coming. One that would test their loyalty, my courage, and reveal a secret about my real father that would change everything I believed. Because 2 days later, someone showed up looking for Tank. And he wasn't just looking for him, he was looking for me. The Monday after Father's Day, I thought life couldn't get any better. My photo was in the school newsletter, me on Tank's bike, grinning ear to ear. For once, I wasn't the poor fatherless boy. I was the kid who rolled in with the HellsAngels. But that morning, a black car parked outside our house. It wasn't just any car. It was the kind of car that didn't belong on our dusty street. Black tinted windows. Quiet engine. No license plate in the front. Mom froze when she saw it through the curtain. Her face drained of color. "Eli," she whispered, "go to your room." I obeyed, but I peeked. A tall man in a black suit stepped out. Broad shoulders, expensive shoes, eyes cold as glass. He wasn't from around here. Mom stepped outside to meet him. I pressed my ear against the thin wall, trying to catch what they were saying. Then I heard it. Her voice trembling. "He's just a child. Leave him out of this." That's when I knew this wasn't about her. It was about me. An hour later, Tank showed up. He wasn't smiling this time. His usual grin was gone, replaced with something heavy. "Eli, champ," he said quietly. "Put on your jacket. We're going for a ride." Mom looked like she wanted to protest, but Tank gave her a look, the kind that said, "Trust me." We rode for almost an hour, until we reached a place I'd never seen before, a big old auto garage with a metal door painted with a skull and wings. Inside were the same bikers from before, only this time, nobody was laughing. Tank shut off the bike and turned to me. "Kid," he said, "I need you to tell me something. Has anyone been asking about your father lately?" I blinked. "Why?" "My dad's gone. He left when I was little." Tank sighed. "Yeah, that's what your mom told you." He looked at the others. One of them, a man named Reaper, muttered, "He's got his eyes, Tank. The same damn eyes." Tank rubbed his face, then crouched to meet my gaze. "Eli, your dad wasn't just some man who left. He was one of us." I froze. "What?" He nodded slowly. "Your father was part of this crew. He was my brother." I didn't believe him. "You're lying." I shouted. "My mom said." "She said what she had to, kid," Tank interrupted gently. "Your old man wasn't just in the Angels. He died because of something that went wrong years ago. And the man who came to your house today was there when it happened." My stomach twisted. "You mean he killed my dad?" Tank didn't answer. But the silence said enough. That night, they let me stay in the clubhouse. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my dad, a face I barely remembered, and that black car. In the morning, Tank handed me a worn leather jacket. "This belonged to your father," he said. "He rode with us. His name was Ghost." On the back of the jacket, the HellsAngels insignia gleamed, with one word stitched in red under the skull wings: honor. Tank placed his rough hand on my shoulder. "He saved my life once. That's why when you asked for a dad, I didn't think twice." Tears blurred my eyes. "He really was one of you." Tank nodded. "The best of us." Then his tone hardened. "But the man in the black car, his name's Victor Kane. He's an ex-cop turned fixer. He blames your father for something that went wrong. And now that he knows you exist, he's gonna try to finish what he started." Everything that happened next felt like a movie I wasn't ready for. For the first time in my life, I wasn't just the lonely boy. I was a target. Tank told the crew to gear up. Engines roared to life, louder, angrier this time. "We ride at dawn," Reaper growled. "No one touches the kid." The next day the black car returned. But this time, it didn't find a scared little boy. It found 30 Harley-Davidsons lined up outside my house, blocking the street. Tank stepped forward, helmet in one hand, chain in the other. "Turn around, Kane," he said. "You got no business here." Victor Kane smiled, that kind of smile that didn't reach his eyes. "You think you can protect him forever? He's got his father's blood. You can't hide what he's part of." Tank's voice rumbled like thunder. "I'm not hiding him. I'm raising him. Something you wouldn't understand." That standoff was the beginning of everything that followed. The revenge, the truth, the heartbreak. But before it ended, I'd learned the real reason Victor wanted me gone. And it wasn't just because of my father. It was because of what my father left behind. Something worth killing for. That night, Tank handed me a small box, one that belonged to my dad. Inside was a flash drive, and a note that said, "If you're reading this, it means they found you. Don't trust anyone until you know the truth." And that's when everything started spiraling. Because when I plugged that flash drive into Tank's old laptop, the screen filled with numbers, names, and one message that burned into my mind. Victor Kane, Internal Affairs. Cover-up. Ghost framed. My dad didn't die a criminal. He died a hero. And now, it was my turn, with Tank and the Angels by my side, to clear his name. And finish what he started. The sunrise that morning looked different. Not the warm orange glow I was used to, but sharp, jagged, like the world was waking up just to test me. Tank handed me my dad's leather jacket again. It smelled faintly of smoke and gasoline, and, somehow, love. "You ready, Eli?" he asked. I nodded, gripping the jacket like it was armor. 30 Harleys roared in the lot behind us, and for the first time, I didn't feel small. I felt unstoppable. We weren't just going for a ride. We were going to uncover the truth behind my father's death, and put Victor Kane where he belonged. The drive to the city was long. Wind cut across my face as I held onto Tank, and the roar of engines drowned out every doubt in my mind. Every so often, Tank would glance back at me, smirking under his helmet. "Look at you, kid. You're part of the family now. Blood of ghost, heart of a warrior." I smiled, even though my stomach was twisting in knots. I wasn't just a little boy anymore. I was a son fighting for his father's honor, with 30 grown men who'd chosen to be my brothers. When we reached Victor Kane's building, a tall glass tower gleaming in the morning light, the air felt thick. Inside, Kane had security, cameras, and a smug expression like he already won. Tank whispered, "Eli, stay behind me. Watch and learn." We sneaked in through the back, weaving past guards and cameras like shadows. Every step felt like my heart might explode. And then I saw it, the office where Victor kept the files on my dad. "Eli," Tank muttered, "that's it. That's the proof we need." I crept closer, and my small hands trembled as I opened a filing cabinet. Inside were documents, photos, and letters from my dad. He had written about Victor Kane, about the cover-up, about the truth. And at the very bottom, a letter addressed to me. "If you are reading this, Eli, it means they found you. Don't be afraid. You are braver than you know. Clear my name. Protect our family. Ghost." Tears burned my eyes. I wasn't afraid anymore. I was ready. Tank gave me a nod. "Time to ride, kid." We burst into the office like a storm. Engines roaring outside, bikers charging in, and Kane's security scrambled in panic. I grabbed the flash drive and shoved it into the nearest laptop. The files displayed all the evidence. Victor Kane had framed my dad. Every bit of it. Kane stepped forward, rage twisting his face. "You think you can destroy me? You're just a kid. I looked at him, clutching my dad's letter. No. I'm the son of the man you tried to break. And 30 brothers of the road won't let you touch me. Tank and the gang stepped forward, forming a circle around me. You're done, Kane, Tank said, voice cold as ice. Time to face the truth. The police arrived minutes later, tipped off by the Angels, and Kane had no choice but to surrender. As he was led away in cuffs, I realized something. For the first time, the world felt right. My father's name was cleared. My story, the story of a little boy who begged bikers to be his dad for one day, became a legend in Maple Creek. Weeks later, at school, kids didn't whisper about me anymore. They asked for my autograph, my story, and for advice. Tank came by often, taking me on rides, teaching me how to ride safely, and even letting me sit in the front sometimes. I had the best birthday party that year. 30 bikers, motorcycles in the driveway, laughter, and cake flying everywhere. I hugged Tank tight. You really were my dad today, I whispered. Tank smiled, his big hands ruffling my hair. No, kid. I was part of your family. And family is forever. I learned something important that day. Family isn't just blood. Family is the people who choose to stand by you, to protect you, to love you when the world tries to take everything away. My dad may have left me one day, but the Hells Angels showed me that a little boy's wish could change lives, and that even the most feared, misunderstood people can have hearts bigger than anyone could imagine. I rode with them. I laughed with them. And I grew up knowing that being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you face the storm anyway. And in the end, love and courage always win.